In this video we want to talk about factorization. Now, I've said in other videos, in this group of videos that we're making available, these are designed just to recap the very fundamentals of arithmetic and algebra and the very fundamentals of mathematics. So some of you will have done mathematics a long time ago, perhaps, and you're a little rusty about it. And I've said this in the other videos as well. In which case you might want to go across this. Or perhaps the first time round you weren't quite clear what was going on, and you might want to go across it for that reason. But if you feel you're okay with factorization or with any of the other topics in this particular series, then just give it a miss. Turn off the video and do something else. It's not compulsory. It's just to help you out if you find it useful. If you don't, we don't want to waste your time. But if you're staying for this one, what we're going to deal with is factorization. Now, factorization means splitting some algebraic expression into components. So we sometimes get a big expression of x's and x squares and so on and so on. And we want to break it down into more meaningful parts, because sometimes some of the expressions are too big, and we want to know what they're made up from anyway. What are the components here? An expression might be the product of two other expressions. We want to find out what those are. So we factorize. We try to decompose the expression into its components. So they're probably best understood by examples. Let's say we have an expression like x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now we want to know, what's that made up from? What can we multiply together to get x squared minus 2x plus 1? So what we do is we set up brackets first. We know the first term is x squared, so we know the first term will be x. So we have a bracket, x, and in the second bracket we've got x, because x times x is x squared. I'll just put the cursor on for a second. Here you are. X times x is x squared. In fact, it's 1 x squared. We don't write the 1, but it is 1 x squared. So we've got x times x, x squared. Now, I put in minus here because I do see a minus sign in here. So if I said, how can I factorize 1? Well, 1 times 1 is 1. So let's try that. Put in minus 1 times minus 1. Now, if we multiply the first terms together, we get x times x, which is x squared. And if we multiply minus 1 times minus 1, we get plus 1. Now, if we do the outside and the inside, we say minus 1 times x is minus 1x, add minus 1 times x, minus 1x. So minus 1x plus minus 1x is minus 2x. Let's check it. Here we've got our factors. We've now decomposed this into its constituent parts. So we've got our factors here. X minus 1 times x minus 1. So multiply it out. That's the way to check it. X minus 1 times x minus 1. Well, first of all, x times x is x squared. X times minus 1 is minus x. Now multiply by minus 1. Minus 1 times x is minus x. Minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Add those up. We get x squared minus 2x plus 1, which is our starting expression. So the answer is right. We have factorized this into its constituent parts. X minus 1 times x minus 1. So we factorized it by going across there. Now this is a much more complicated expression. 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. Well, we know what the first one is, 2x squared, so we can write that down straight away. We can 2x times x, 2x squared. That's fine. We've got a minus in here, so I always tend to go with the minus signs. Add the minus sign in straight away. We know there's a minus. If it was a plus, if those were both pluses, I put this as a plus as well. But it's a minus, and that's a minus. So now, what are the factors of 12? Well, 12 times 1 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. And 6 times 1 is 12. So we have to try all of those. But we need the middle term to be 2x. And we also have this 2x here playing here. So what we have to do is we have to try different values. We'd have to try 12 and 1, because 12 times 1 is 12. And when we allow for the 2, can we get a 2 in the middle? 3 times 4, can we get a 2 in the middle? 6 times 1, can we get a 2 in the middle? So what we did in the end is we settled for plus 6 minus 2. Minus 2 times plus 6 is minus 12. Now do the inside, and we do 6x, 6 times x plus 6x, and then we have minus 4x. Minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. So we have 6x minus 4x, which is plus 2x. So how I got that? Well, first of all, let's check to see if it's right. We can multiply the two numbers out like we did before. So we have 2x plus 6 there times x minus 2, which is here. Now multiply. Well, 2x times x is 2x squared. X times 6, 6x. Now multiply by the minus 2. Minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. Minus 2 times 6 plus 6, that's minus 12. Add it up. So it's 2x, write down 2x squared I should say, 2x squared here. 6x minus 4x is 2x, and minus 12, which is where we started. So it is right. The problem here is that it's trial and error. How we got this over here, there isn't a rule for this, and we just have to try different values and use a scrap of paper and try and work out which set is going to work. We know there are 12 times 1 is 12, 3 times 4, and 6 times 2. So there are 3 sets, 3 combinations here to work out. And what we want, allowing for the 2 here in front, we need this one to be 2x. So we just have to try, keep on trying which set is going to work, to try and work this one out. So remember, that is the 2 comes into play here. Once you've worked it out, whatever it is, check it to make sure, like I've done here. Just multiply out that, check it out, and if it works, then you found the factors. This is how you factorize. There's not a straightforward method here. It is essentially trial and error. You're working through different possibilities until you find the one that is correct, and that's it. You've done it. So there's much more to factorization, different ways we can go about it and stuff, but we're not going to look at that here. This is enough. This should bring back to mind anything you've done in the past, and if you haven't made it in the past, just something that I'm not too sure how useful it will be on the course, but it's just something that most people who go through the education process will have bumped into, and there's no reason why you shouldn't bump into it as well. So let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.